Welcome. Yeah, welcome to our third session in the InterGalactics subtle bodybuilding on blossoming of the heart. And today's session, we're focused on the connection of the heart to the Hara. And then, since it's our third session, we'll also be emphasizing the overall connection between all three of these astral centers: the head, the heart, and the Hara. And also linking them up as we started yesterday with our incarnated soul's energy, which is located at the first transpersonal chakra above our head. And what I think we'll do is we'll get the session underway, and then we can do more of the discussion and also the meditation. Right? We're starting up the transmission session to build the connection of the heart and the Hara. A particular emphasis on building both of those centers equally, with, of course, our kind of framework of starting from the heart center, and then also the overall connection of the head, the heart to the Hara, as well as the Hara up to the head. We're starting with the intergalactic level 1 blast frequencies to relax and center your system. And now we're channeling the intergalactic Omega Council frequencies as a blast to cleanse and then energize all your 7 subtle bodies. That includes your physical, etheric, emotional, mental, causal, spiritual, and divine subtle bodies. And now we're starting the formal intergalactic subtle bodybuilding blossoming of the heart transmission. And here, the overall focus is on building the Hara Center first. And now the intergalactic transmission energies are coming across to reinforce the building of the heart center in its relationship to the belly or will center. And now the energies are coming across to build the connection, both energetically as well as on all subtle dimensions, emotional, mental, causal, spiritual, divine, between the heart and the Hara. And now the energies and frequencies are working down to lay down the patterns for perseverance. Now the transmission energies are coming down to lay down the imprints for courage. Now the intergalactic transmission energies are being downloaded for patterns for manifestation. Now the transmission energies are coming down to bring down patterns of prosperity and abundance in connection with the heart center. And now the transmission frequencies are coming across to integrate your subtle bodies and consciousness. That completes the energy of the transmission. You can gently but firmly come back to your physical body now, moving your fingers and your toes, coming completely back to your physical body now. And when you feel comfortable, you can open your eyes and snap your fingers. So now we're going to do the meditation. So it'll be a little bit on the longer side to incorporate all the centers. We'll sort of do a full pillar meditation, but this time we'll be focusing also on the connection of the heart to the Hara. But we'll start with the energies from above the head. And we'll do our breathing practice. Again, the 7 from the root chakra to the crown and back on the inhale and exhale. And this time from the root chakra to the heart center for 7. Okay, get started. So we're doing our culminating pillar of light meditation to integrate the head, the heart, and the hara. And we're also emphasizing the connection of the heart to the hara or belly region. So we're going to start with 7 deep breaths to move the energy from the root center inside the central channel to the crown on the inhale, then from the crown back to the root center for 7. So putting the tongue on the roof of your mouth, exhaling your air, focusing at the root center or the perineum, and inhale deeply to the crown and hold, then exhale deeply back down to the root center. Inhale, hold, then exhale and hold. Inhale, hold, exhale, 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 hold. You can just relax. And now we're going to emphasize the connection from the hara to the heart. So again, starting at the root center, but this time stopping at the heart center on the end of the inhale. And then from the heart back to the root center on the exhale. So putting the tongue on the roof of your mouth, exhaling your air, starting at the root center. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold, inhale, hold, exhale, hold, inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Just relaxing. Now starting the meditation portion. First, start by making an anchor to the earth. You just go to the belly region and send your awareness to the center of the earth. Just say connect. Feeling solid like a mountain. And now gently touching into the heart center. Just feeling gratitude for all that life has brought us. And gently touching in to the center of your head. And connecting to your I am presence. And gently touching into the top of your head. Then anywhere above your head in your individual pillar of light. Here we're connecting with the divine, our spiritual guides and teachers, particularly the request to open up our heart center and connect it to both the head and the Hara. Now the divine energies are coming down to the center of your head. Just allow the energies to work at the head center. Now you can allow the divine energies to descend down to your heart center. Now the divine energies are dropping down to 4 finger widths below the navel. You can gently bring your awareness back to the top of your head. And now bringing your awareness to the first transpersonal chakra above your head. And now releasing any focus on one particular area in your energy field. You can simply be aware of awareness itself, similar to the awareness when there's a gap between two thoughts. Simply your pure presence. And that completes the meditation. You can gently but firmly come back to your physical body now, moving your fingers and your toes, coming completely back to the physical body now. And we thank the divine, our spiritual guides and teachers, the InterGalactics, our holy guardian angel, and our higher self. We thank you for your great, great blessings. Thank you. When you feel comfortable, you can open your eyes and snap your fingers. Great. Hopefully you enjoyed the session and the meditation. Yeah, there's always space here if anyone had anything they'd like to share or ask about this day, or also any of the other 2 days. But we'll be continuing with the series, also building the head center. Of course, this is used with the higher clairvoyance and also thinking. But this is also a good chance to integrate, starting from the heart center and then building out to the belly and the connection to the head. And maybe Joan, if you had a comment or.
Okay, I think I can talk. I do have a question. You've mentioned many times that I've heard about the need for service, and then you talked about the Twin Hearts meditation yesterday, which you taught in another class I took, and I really like it. But I was wondering, feeling so privileged that I have a roof over my head and food, and nobody's going to drop a bomb on me tonight that I know of. Um, is it possible to do this kind of energy work? I don't want to say by proxy, but opening it up somehow that that benefit that is received by any sentient being who would like to have it, but maybe isn't able to take the time or whatever.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, that's a great question. And great to kind of expound on that or to share how you might do that. So one is if you like still doing the pillar, you could do, a version of any of the meditations we did. And then in the opening invocation, you ask that this energy be shared, particularly through the healing angels, that they take the divine energy that you're generating or bringing down, to build the centers, that you take that to any place on the planet that needs help, or you could even direct it, just say, maybe to the Middle East or Iran or wherever you might want to have it be directed, and then they'll take that. So that's kind of the first technique part to answer your question. And then on the back end, after pretty much, like we end at the top of the head,
Mhm.
then before you say the closing invocation, you can do the same energetic movement as Twin Hearts. You basically put your hands, because you've brought down a lot of energy in your field, probably more than we need. So then you open your hands like this, imagine the earth here, and focus on your heart and crown, and then just say, I'm releasing all the divine energy, to bless the earth. And you can think of, like maybe the Middle East or anywhere on the planet, your hometown or wherever you want to direct it. And then just see that gold energy, bathing the earth or that area. And yeah, and then so you can do that anywhere up to 6 minutes. So you're doing a healing for world service on the planet. And then close with the invocation. And you can just thank the healing angels who are helping to distribute the energy.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we, of course, need to do that now on a daily basis, to really help what's going on the planet. Of course, by meditating, we are, but this is a more directed, those two techniques I shared is a more directed way to send the energy. Yeah, and then like with the belly center, I just wanted to mention in the energy transmission, there were more qualities that were brought through in the belly center, that we may not have talked about in the beginning, sort of this courage, perseverance, manifestation, abundance, prosperity. And like in isolation, that could become qualities that are self-centered. And maybe we went through lifetimes or we've done that in this life. And you can develop that to a very high degree. I use the word ruthlessness if, for that extreme. So that's why it's kind of tempered by the connection to the heart and also these other upper centers. But when it's kind of tempered or connected to the heart, then of course there's a balance. You're still considering other people, even while you have those qualities of that courage, perseverance, and so forth, strength, power. And then it can also start to be directed to endeavors which are um, maybe from the higher self or more spiritual. Usually that does start at the heart, but it's probably then starting to connect up to the head and to the first chakra above the head. This divine energy will direct these lower center energies. And there was a quote I've usually mentioned in some of the other classes where we talk about the belly center. It's actually from Mother. Her name, she went by the term Mother, she was the kind of the divine partner of Sri Aurobindo. She was a French woman, and she went on to kind of carry his kind of legacy forward. But she said, like when we're in the worldly state, we do, and you want to become powerful or you put in a lot of effort, that's kind of building your belly center or using this lower chakra energies, like to build an empire, for example, or whatever it might be, your ambition, worldly ambition. But then a lot of times either people will wait, because those lower centers, you have a limited energy within your physical life. So let's say if you get on the spiritual path, like in India, maybe you did it after your children were grown up, and so maybe you're in your 70s or 80s or uh, if you could live that long. And then you're now going to try to go after enlightenment. And she said, and then maybe you kind of disregard all your lower centers also. So whether it's sexuality or ambition. But she said that like you're probably going to need as much or more of that ambition, that drive from the lower centers to reach enlightenment than you did for a worldly goal. So the one of the levels of teaching on that is not to disregard your lower centers, but they can be turned up to higher goals. There's usually a stage-wise process, though. I kind of learned this when I was studying with Claire Vision and Samuel Sagan's school, where they kind of focus on these three areas. A lot of it is to unravel or let go of scars, some scaras, hold back these energies. And one of the first, in the stepwise process is kind of to reclaim some of those energies from the lower centers because a lot of them were repressed before you actually turn them to spiritual goals. So kind of getting in touch with what really drives you, what really is your true pleasures, and not to feel guilty about those pleasures. And then you can kind of reclaim those energies. Also, like what you fear, or because usually behind that fear is something that you have really power under, to kind of reclaim some of these very strong energies and emotions. So that's kind of the first step. That's not the ending step, because then if you kind of just stay there, then you could get in that imbalanced kind of ruthless state. But until you kind of really come into contact with that, even like rage or anger, that deep primal energies, you don't really have full access because they've usually been repressed, either through trauma or through society. And then the next step is then you turn that towards spirituality, and then you're kind of, I guess, living it with gusto towards your spiritual goals or towards awakening. So it kind of needs that firepower, so to speak. So it's kind of that may not be presented in all spiritual paths, in all non-dual paths. I just wanted to share that that was something, that clear vision or Samuel Sagan, had in their teachings, which would be considered like an initiation school or mystery school. So a lot of it is kind of reclaiming these energies that may have been repressed or uh, traumatized, kind of held down through trauma. Okay, and then the only other thing to mention is, on that is, as if you do meditate, some people here may be doing a daily meditation on these centers, then you will come into contact with those traumas, because you're basically setting them up a stronger vibration or frequency at those centers. And usually we've hidden them, suppressed them. So when you start meditating, 10 minutes in silence at each of the centers or at the heart every day, then it's harder to keep repressing those. So that's actually a good sign. It may be uncomfortable. And I just wanted to mention that because that might cause people to stop meditating, particularly subconsciously, because you feel like, actually I'm thinking more, it's more uncomfortable to meditate, or my meditations aren't that good. But like if you've swept all the things under the rug and now your meditation is kind of lifting up that rug, which is a good thing because eventually you can sweep those things out. It may seem like your room is getting messier. There's more dust in the air. But actually that's a good sign. It could last for weeks, months, could last for years. I mean, most people have a healing arm where they can, as those things come up, they can clear them with their healing tools. And that's kind of how you kind of move forward like that. But just wanted to mention that, if you really kind of start focusing on those centers in a daily practice kind of way. Any questions on anything we mentioned there? Okay. Well, yeah, maybe we'll start to wrap things up here. First, I wanted to thank everyone for bringing down the great energies and the questions and comments during the sessions. And yeah, look forward to staying in touch. Hey, Melton, Tari, Joan.
You,
That's,
thank
uh,
you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jean. Thank
Thanks
you.
a
It
lot.
was
Good to see
great.
you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you for a whole week
Thanks,
of
Joan.
wonderful classes. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks.
you.
Thanks. See you.
Bye.
Bye.